So this week I pretty much have one thing to do. I need to drop off Tahiti's new heads over to Head Games, where they're going to be rebuilt and they're going to get a valve job. Now I have decided to try to revive my Camaro. You guys haven't seen it in a while. Mostly because it's not really a popular car on the channel, but also I haven't been using it. It's literally just been sitting outside for like 3 months because it needs an oxygen sensor. And I got to do a couple little things to it, but my plan in this video is to pretty much get that thing started. I know the battery's definitely going to be dead. We'll try to get it jump started. We'll try to get that O2 sensor changed, maybe check the tire pressure, whatever. Give it a quick once over, and then we're going to head on over to Jersey to Head Games, where we're going to have these guys get dropped off. So these are the $799 truck heads that came off my Camaro's blown up 5.3 that we salvaged the cam out of a few videos ago. These are the truck equivalent to a 243 head, which I believe is like an LS2 head. It's the more desirable head that you would get on, I think the late model, like the 2001, 2002 4th gen Camaros and Firebirds got them, and they have slightly larger intake valves, I believe, and they flow a little bit better. So I pretty much sent these over to Tune Time. They did a vapor honing on them, so they are completely cleaned. Once again, these have not been painted. That's just the raw aluminum. And I think the vapor honing, it's essentially kind of like a wet sandblasting, where it uses mostly water and like an abrasive to clean this than just like dry sand or grit. And they also went ahead and put them on their CNC, gave them a nice port job. And now they're going to go over to Head Games, where they're going to do a complete valve job on them. They're going to get some new valves, and they're going to assemble them. I have my BTR springs that came off of these. Well, here she is. She's been sitting for like probably 3 months at this point. And I got that O2 sensor we're going to be putting in for like the 3rd time. And then maybe we'll take this thing down to Head Games and we'll drop the Tahoe's heads off. Yeah, so ever since I put this Holley system in this car, because when I had the 5.3 in here, I had a stock PCM. I don't think it's the Holley's fault, it's just the sensor that it uses. It just keeps burning through O2 sensors. And the system doesn't use 2 narrowband sensors like the factory stuff does. It just uses 1 wideband. Or you could like set up 2 widebands and put 1 in each header, but the way these sensors go bad, I really wouldn't say that's a good move. Might as well take you inside. We're not jumping it yet. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. We're not running though, so. Let's see what we got. We got nothing. And the Holley just completely turned off. And it's freaking out. So I got this portable jump pack. Usually jumps the car without a problem. I need a ground. Let's get on the compressor, I guess. It's a great noise. Okay, here we go. Try number 1. Fuel pump's going. There we go. I can see the O2 sensor is still broken. Yeah, I probably should have just did the O2 sensor before jumping it, but you can see we're pegged at like 35 AFR. And even if we rev it, it does nothing. It's totally dead. And when you go to try to drive it, it just completely falls on its face and it like stumbles if you give it any kind of throttle. So let's shut her down. I'll get the jack out and we'll just get that sensor swapped out and we should be good to go. One other thing I need to do, I need to drain the ice tank in the trunk. I completely forgot about this being the car's been sitting, but this is just, okay, that's stuck. But it's filled with like 10 gallons of water. I need to get that out. And usually I'll just completely drain it because I don't drive this thing in the winter, or I'll drain most of it and then throw like a gallon of coolant in it just to make sure it doesn't freeze. Well, of course it's starting to rain now, so I switched you guys over to cell phone cam. It is on the other side. I can still get to it though. Well, there she is, totally not on the passenger side. It's the sensor without a problem. I forget where the hell I tied up this connector though. Goes up that way to freaking somewhere. Oh man, how long is that thing? I might have it tied up behind the head. Although it seemed like the new sensor, the connector isn't that long. Yeah. Since when do you see an oxygen sensor come out that easily? With an open-end wrench, barely any pressure on it. Because it's still pretty much brand new. All right, let me get under the hood, try to find that connector. Yeah, so here's the connector back here. I just unclipped it. So I got this zip tied. It looks like maybe to this harness here, I don't even know. But we'll pull that through. I am a little concerned because it looks like the new one isn't as long. So that could be a problem. The connector does fit in there though, so I think it's the right sensor. Maybe they revised it, I don't know. Piece of crap. So here's the crap-ass replacement sensor. I've been buying these from Holley. Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind to just get a freaking aftermarket. So yeah, I've been paying like 133 bucks a pop for these, so like every 6 months or 4 months, however long they go bad. So yeah, next time I'm changing this, I'm buying like an aftermarket. So the part numbers are the same. One's just a lot longer than the other one. So. All right, well, I got it through. It does appear that there's enough slack in at least the main harness that this plugs into. It's freaking tight though. So I'm hoping I'm gonna be all right. I mean, at the very least, it's just gonna be a pain to try to get the connector plugged in, because it's probably gonna be friggin' draped on top of the transmission now instead of under the hood. But yeah, I haven't been driving this car because it kind of has a few issues. This is the most recent thing. I was driving it, I would take it out at least like once a week, and then the oxygen sensor thing happened, and then I forgot to order one, and it's just kind of been sitting. But the other issue it has is the exhaust. Man, the exhaust is just like, it needs some stuff done to it. Whenever you drive this car and you get out, you just smell like fumes, like really badly. Like these clamps here are leaking. I replaced them a million times. Eventually they just start leaking again. What I need to do is, now that I raised the car up a little bit, I got to put V-bands back on here so they're completely sealed and don't have any leaks. So once I get that taken care of, at least, you know, it'll be more enjoyable to drive because it's not going to stink like fumes. Hell, I might even throw a small, like, high flow converter on it just to bring the stink down. All right, I got it in. The length didn't even make an issue. Like, I just have that fish down a little further now, but the plug is still right there under the hood. What are the chances the battery charged itself up in the 10 seconds it was running before? Not very good. Okay. All right, we're on it. There's our fuel pump. There we go. We have our AFR back, at least for now. until the sensor goes out again. Now, once I sit here editing this video, I noticed something that may or may not be a big deal. Look at the lid while I rev the engine. It's like it has a pulse. Now, I don't know if this is normal for the blower lid. That is not, in fact, a Kong blower. It's just a stock LSA blower running pretty much max boost. So I would think, though, you could run max boost on a Kong blower as well, and it shouldn't make a difference. Might just be normal to have a little flex up there. Obviously, that's doing that because of the boost. Just something I noticed. I don't really plan on doing anything about it. I'm just going to leave it alone and hope the top of the lid doesn't split open. In other news, I do have new and improved LSX matte beanies now available. I got this design with the little black poof ball. I have a more heavy-duty, wintry design, gray, also with the poof ball a little bit thicker. And then I have a kind of regular plain Jane style beanie like that, also available. In addition to that, I do have my Trans Am design now available on a hoodie. Before, I just had this on a regular t-shirt. So if you want to pick this up, that's going to be on my website as well. And you could get to that at the link below the video. All right, so it is the next day. It's still a little rainy out, but that's not going to stop us. Got the heads loaded up, got my valve springs, all the hardware, the keepers. I got some new valve seals, and camera set up. We're ready to go. Right now, I just got to grab some gas, maybe a coffee, and we're gonna head over there. It's about an hour drive. I haven't put gas in this thing in like a friggin' long time. I definitely haven't filled it up in a while, so I don't know what the hell this is gonna cost. This only takes 93. Hey, fill it up 93.
Zip code.
I always gotta like friggin' triple check to make sure they actually hit 93, because on like a stock car, you forget to put premium in it. It's like whatever, it's not really the end of the world. On this car, where it's like friggin' tuned on the edge, if you don't put 93 in it, especially if you get on it, well, definitely if you get on it, it's gonna explode. Get the GPS set up because I have no idea where I'm going. All right, we're full. How much did that cost anyway? Oh, not bad. It's 49 bucks. 49 bucks for 10 gallons, 10 and a half gallons. Fun fact, in addition to the bus that's turning, in addition to the exhaust issue I mentioned yesterday when I was changing the O2 sensor out, where it kind of gets really fumey in here, especially if you roll the windows down. You roll the windows or even crack them on the highway, just immediately all the fumes come inside the car. And I think it's just because those collectors are leaking, because that's right kind of at like where the doors are. But the other thing is, ever since I put this motor in it, which has a stage 4 BTR PDS blower cam, the brakes don't work too well. Like, it doesn't make enough vacuum at idle. Like, it has power assist, but if you pump them a few times and it's kind of just at idle, it pretty much uses up all the vacuum, and it can't recover unless you kind of give it a little bit of RPM to build a little bit of vacuum. Then the brakes will come back. So that's kind of something I'm working on. I have an electric I have a pump from like a Gen 5 motor, like a Corvette electric vacuum assist pump that I'm planning on installing. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but that's another thing on the list of things I kind of need to button up and fix with this. Plus the whole interior on this car needs to be like redone. The center console's kind of falling apart. Half the gauges don't work. I have no speed, no speedometer. The tach is all over the place. I use the Holley little screen, so that's where I get all my vitals from. But I really want to get like a Holley dash kit or a Pro Dash or something in here. The steering wheel really has to go. It kind of hasn't held up with the rest of the car after I kind of changed the seats and everything. I want something a little more modern. And door panels, the side trim, this boost gauge isn't even hooked up anymore, if you can even see it. So yeah, plus the floorboards they're a little Swiss cheesy on the driver's side. Not terrible, but there are some pinholes in them. So once the Trans Am's up and running, this car is going to be going under the knife, and just, yeah, need some stuff done to it. I probably sound like an old man, but something this car does like incredibly well is the highway. Just to lean back, and it's just a great friggin' highway cruiser for, I mean, what it is, what it could do at the track. Albeit we still haven't hit that 9 yet, but I have no problem like driving this thing, taking it on like road trips. It's pretty comfortable. It drives pretty damn nice, especially on the highway. And the road noise is really not that bad. I mean, you know, it's an old car. This thing has like no sound deadening in it, which is something I kind of want to also do. Put some heat barriers in the floor, everything I pretty much did with the Trans Am. Put some sound deadening in the back where the exhaust is. But ever since I put that manual cutout in the back and I put that smaller muffler, I mean, you know, I'm going down the highway now. You guys can hear me. There's absolutely no drone. There's not too much noise from the drivetrain with that ton mounted torque arm. It's definitely a little bit louder than it was before, but I just love driving this thing on the highway. Like, it's just super comfortable, and the car just loves it. Started spinning a little bit. Oh. Third spins, fourth spins. Barely at like 25% throttle. Hopefully it dries out a little bit once we get further down, but we're about 25 minutes away at this point. It doesn't look like it's gonna dry up. I'm like spinning at 70 miles an hour. So we're about 5 minutes away. It is still disgustingly wet out. So I'm not seeing any pulls in my foreseeable future. I think I'm in the wrong lot. I was here once for the heads on this car. I think, oh yeah, I think it's that building. All right, hold on. Are they connected? Does not appear to be so. There we go. All right, we made it. I'm gonna go bring these babies inside. All right, heads are dropped off. We're all good to go. I think next I'm gonna work on getting that block cleaned up. So I want to kind of descale it, give it a little paint job, get the deck surface cleaned up, and then put those head studs in it, and kind of get maybe the engine bay cleaned up a little bit. So when we get the heads back, we could just pop them on, throw it back into Hoodie, and kind of get to the tuning. A little bit of traction there. Not enough that I feel comfortable enough to open this thing up. Maybe when we go pick them up, let's hope for a warm, sunny, dry day, and maybe we could get back on her a little bit and not just spin down the highway.